So I'm Jean Thévenot. I'm a farmer in the Basque Country in the southwest of France, producing organic seedlings. I'm not from a family farming background, so I decided to become a farmer. First of all, because I wanted to make something instead of just asking for change. Let's be honest, I will try to be hopeful at the end, but let's be honest, the picture is quite dark at the moment. If we look at the situation of the planet, we have a lot of conflicts coming back. So at some point I decided I wanted to do something really concrete, like to show the way, to make a change that I could see. And so that was farming, basically. Producing healthy and sustainable food to feed the people in my region, in my territory. I think nowadays young people willing to become farmers often have a political point of view somehow making this choice, because as we all know, the revenue of farmers is terribly low. Willing to become a farmer in such context is already a strong sign, a strong decision to take. A lot of struggle, but at the same time, it's a good quality of life that you get, and I think that's also something young people are searching for. The money I can make from my farm comes partly from the farm, but partly from subsidies, as it's the case for most farms in Europe at the moment. Because my farm is a really small-scale farm, we receive very little subsidies. Actually, the only subsidy that's really helping us is a subsidy that is paid per person instead of per hectare. Because whenever we go to this classical cap system with paying subsidies per hectare, well, big farms get a lot of money, small farms don't. And as my farm is 1.3 hectares, so that's very small, we need to change the policies in order so farmer can actually make a living, a fair living from their work, and not only from subsidies. Well, the first challenge, I would say, is access to land. The first thing you need when you want to become a farmer is land. And if you're not from a family farming background, you need to buy land. And then you have two issues. The first one is the disponibility of land, like there is not a lot of land to buy. And then you have the price issue. Even when land is to buy, the price is so high that it's actually impossible for young people to access this land. And then when you access land, comes all the rest. Investment, training, and then maybe the last point is the rural areas in Europe are neglected. We have very low public services, education, health, etc. And obviously, if you want to attract young in rural areas, you need to offer these services, because often it's the case. My business partner is a father, he just had 2 children, so they need a school, they need places we need doctors, we need places to work for other people. So rural areas are not only about farmers, but also about all the other people living on the territory, and this is really important, I think, to work more on public services in rural areas. I think the first point would be revenue. We want public policies to help and protect revenue from farmers. And then, as I said, access to land and all the other things. We hear a lot ideas like farmers will make money from carbon farming, from protecting biodiversity, etc. We completely agree that farming is linked with that, and that we actually need, through our practices, to work better with the environment. This is something I completely agree on, but I'm not sure we should be paid for that, because that's not our job. Our job is to produce food. People think that farmers are some kind of people using a lot of pesticides and destroying the planet, while the environment could be saved in some kind of protected areas, etc., etc. We don't share this. I don't share this, and my organization don't. We think that farming is part of nature, that as farmers we are actually ecologists, because we work with climate, we work with the soil, we work with animals. It depends how. That's the question. It's not farming being against the environment, it's more because what kind of farming do we want? And the type of farming we defend, which is small and medium scale, family, traditional, local, etc., systems, which still represent the majority of the farms in Europe, by the way. These systems can work with nature. And actually do. And actually, when you look at the landscapes in Europe, when you look at a lot of things like that, it comes also from farming. It's not like nature and farming are linked together quite strongly. Especially where I live, we still have this pastorship system. So basically in summer, the farmers will go in the mountain with the sheep and the cows and then go back down for winter. And this is also really important somehow because it maintains pastures in the mountains that are really high biodiversity hotspots. So all this is linked, and I would really like people to understand that we actually want to work with nature and we want to be more sustainable. But some of my friends do use pesticides. They don't like it. They know it's dangerous. They know they are ruining their health. They know they are destroying the soil. But they say, I cannot do anything else. I mean, this is the price I can sell my milk or my corn. If I don't put pesticides, I cannot make a living. I have to close the farm. So again, we come back to that. If we want to change practices, we need to help farmers to change. And this means also economically, we need to support them in the transition. and we want everybody to be able to make this transition. We don't want to leave farmers behind. So actually, I think that the most inspiring thing for me is when we have, because we receive a lot of interns or young people being curious on our farm, because we want to do that. And it's always really really inspiring to see people often coming from urban contexts, going back to the ground. And after a few days, so we seed a lot. We work with seed, which is also really symbolic, and there is a lot of spirituality also and things like that between the seeds and humans. And it's really nice to see people coming from a non-farming context after a few days, seeding, using plants and all that, starting to feel something, and say, "Wow, I feel like I reconnected somehow with something." And some of them are so touched that they actually quit their life in the city and come back to be farmer, but that's a minority.